Self-distillation is how we teach large language models to reason. One model plays both roles, teacher and student. The teacher gets to peek at the verified answer. The student does not. The student imitates the teacher token by token, and it works for a while. But here is the problem. The teacher knows something the student never will, so the student can never truly match it. As training goes on, the student starts encoding the answer shortcut, leaking privileged information that simply vanishes at test time. Accuracy peaks early, then quietly degrades. DemoPSD fixes this with one clean idea. Do not force the student to copy the whole teacher. Blend them. Trust the teacher where they agree. Fall back to the student where they diverge. Here is the setup. The teacher is the model conditioned on the question plus the privileged answer. The student is the same model, question only. At every token, measure how much they disagree. That is the Jensen-Shannon divergence between student and teacher. Call it D. That disagreement is the signature of privileged distortion. Turn it into a gate. Alpha equals a sigmoid of D, rescaled to 0 when they agree and capped at alpha max when they split. Now build the target. Instead of the raw teacher, steer the student toward a reverse, KL barycenter, a geometric mixture, teacher to the power 1 minus alpha, times student to the power alpha. The loss is reverse KL toward that target, and its gradient scales the teacher signal by 1 minus alpha. High disagreement means a weak distillation signal. The privilege leak is throttled exactly where it is worst. Why a geometric mixture, not a plain average? Because a geometric blend in log-prob space gives a token substantial mass only when both teacher and student support it. A plain arithmetic average would still hand mass to teacher-only tokens, the very tokens carrying the leak. The geometric target stays sharp and coherent instead of smearing into a diffuse high-entropy mush. Think of it as a veto, not a vote. Either distribution can suppress a token. So the student adopts the teacher's guidance on the tokens they share and protects its own reasoning on the tokens where the teacher is leaning on information the student will never see. This is not a heuristic patched onto training. It has teeth. Theorem 1, leakage attenuation. The effective leakage rate drops by a factor of 1 minus alpha squared, and because alpha tracks disagreement, the attenuation lands hardest on exactly the positions that leak the most. Theorem 2, exploration preservation. Under a natural condition, that the teacher mostly sharpens the student's existing beliefs rather than contradicting them, the barycenter target stays strictly more entropic than the full teacher. Dense token-level supervision is retained where teacher and student agree, and downweighted only where they diverge. Calibration without collapse. On Sign No Evil, scientific reasoning across biology, chemistry, materials, and physics, DemoPSD beats both baselines on every metric. Look at Best of 16, the cleanest red on exploration quality. GRPO, pure outcome reward, lands at 75.4. SDPO, standard self-distillation, reaches 79.3. DemoPSD hits 82.1. Same base model, Quen34b, same data, same compute. Only the objective differs. The gain over self-distillation is largest exactly on the metric that rewards keeping diverse reasoning paths alive. The real test is out of distribution. GPQA, graduate-level science the model never trained on. Here, self-distillation betrays itself. It peaks early, then degrades. On chemistry, it falls from 40.4 all the way to 28.6, an 11-point collapse. That curve is the fingerprint of accumulating leakage. DemoPSD does the opposite. It stays stable and keeps climbing, ending almost 8 points above self-distillation on average. The disagreement gate does not just help in domain. It is what keeps the model honest on questions it has never seen. Zoom in on the training entropy and you can see the mechanism working. Standard self-distillation collapses toward a sharp, narrow peak. One answer mode, low entropy, low exploration. By the final step, it has lost its diversity. DemoPSD keeps a broader, multimodal distribution, 33 to 98% higher entropy across all 4 domains, biggest on materials where collapse was most severe. That preserved entropy is why best of 16 accuracy is higher and why out of distribution generalization holds. You cannot sample a reasoning path you have already collapsed away. Now the honest scope. The evaluation is narrow. 1 base model, 1 in-domain benchmark family, 1 out of distribution test. No code, no math, no open-ended generation. The absolute gains are modest, about 1.7 points over self-distillation on mean accuracy. And on materials, where teacher and student already agree the most, the win shrinks to a near tie. Theorem 2 also rests on an assumption, that the teacher sharpens rather than contradicts, which holds for self-distillation but is not universal. This is a recipe and understanding paper, not a new state-of-the-art. DemoPSD's contribution is the lever it pulls. Where purified self-distillation fixes the teacher's update, and neuron-aware methods fix the teacher's input, DemoPSD fixes the teacher's target, a disagreement-modulated reverse, KL barycenter. Same leakage problem, 3 different doors. The mechanism, the 2 theorems, and the stable out-of-distribution curve are the real result. Subscribe for the next paper breakdown.